Officers assigned to the largest division in the Germantown Police Department, Uniform Patrol, are the front line against crime in Germantown. They monitor the city 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to protect life and property and detect unlawful activity. In 2022 alone, Patrol responded to over 36,000 calls for service and had over 18,000 contacts through traffic enforcement.
We're the first person that you see if you have a complaint, or sometimes on your worst day. We're the ones that make the initial call. The folks that are out there, it's the bread and butter of our department.
Police emergency response time in Germantown has continued to surpass other cities' benchmarks of 4 minutes by averaging 2.5 minutes since 2017, with non-emergency response time under 4 minutes. Germantown police use strict traffic enforcement as a proven method to deter crime.
Germantown's approach to policing is being very proactive. We like to be highly visible in the community, lots of traffic enforcement. There's been studies that show that high traffic enforcement produces a lower crime rate.
What sets Germantown apart from other agencies in the area, I believe, is our cohesiveness, because we have the privilege of being a little bit of a smaller department to match our population.
What sets the Germantown Police Department apart from other departments in the area is the top-down support of the police officers. When it comes down to it, the officer level is the majority of the police department, and essentially they are where the rubber meets the road. The department does not work without police officers on the street handling calls, taking reports, doing the face-to-face interaction with citizens every day.
While you most frequently see officers conducting patrols and monitoring traffic, they are also responsible for securing crime scenes, administering first aid, mediating disputes, conducting preliminary investigations, apprehending suspects, and making arrests. Officers may also be called upon to testify as a witness in court. You may even run into them at local events and neighborhood association meetings.
Not only the city supports us, but the citizens in the city support us as well. You know, you could be driving down Poplar and somebody will be waving out their windows, waving at you, or they'll be smiling at you from across a different lane. You know, they have little signs in their yards, and, you know, Germantown Police, thank you. It really helps with the mental health aspect of the job, because it can be hard sometimes, but knowing that you have that support really does make it really great to work.
My favorite part about serving the Germantown community is definitely the outreach. Interacting with our local Girl Scout and Boy Scout troops is really rewarding, getting a chance to talk. We have so many opportunities to really engage with the community on a face-to-face basis.
What makes Germantown very unique is the citizens that make up the city. As cliche as that may sound, what we deliver to the community and our service excellence is because we receive it from them as well.
What I like most about the Germantown community is they actually take an interest in where they live. They're concerned about the city.
In Germantown, patrol officers receive a minimum of 40 hours of training each year. However, our officers generally get double that. Officers are also outfitted with the latest technology and equipment, such as Axon body-worn cameras. As members of the Germantown Police Department, officers receive a variety of opportunities for professional and personal growth.
So some of the opportunities that I've had working with the Germantown Police Department, I'm a crisis intervention team officer, which is officers that handle EDPs, we call them, or emotionally disturbed persons, people that are in crisis. I'm a traffic investigator, crash investigator, so anytime there's a critical crash or a fatality crash, I'm usually one of the ones that'll investigate it. The team of us do. I'm a field training officer as well, so whenever we have new hires, officers in training, I'll help train them.
We're a small department, but I got the opportunity to be on the crisis negotiation team.
As a crisis intervention officer, I respond to times when individuals may be having intentions to harm themselves or others. One time I responded where a family had called because their son was making some comments about harming himself. Myself and other officers responded. I located him. He was armed with a firearm and had intention to harm himself. I had been trained up to, you know, how to de-escalate this, how to do this, but until you're faced with a situation like that, you don't really know what's gonna happen. So when I was looking at him, I said, hey, just kind of froze. How old are you? He goes, I'm 28. I was like, oh, I'm 28 too. And we just long pause. I was like, you wanna talk? Why did you catch the game? Just found some common ground enough to just distract from the current crisis he was in, enough to get him safely away, and then have a in-depth conversation about what might have led up to this, and it resolved in a peaceful situation. He got the help he needed that night, and I followed up with him. He's doing okay. But for me, that's a time when I was able to find common ground to resolve a potentially very dangerous situation by just being a human and just having a conversation.
While having a well-trained officer is of the utmost importance, it isn't enough. Here at GPD, we hire for more than experience.
We hire for character out here. They took this job to help people. It's not just a job for them.
I think one of the best qualities of a police officer is somebody that's empathetic, somebody that can relate to people, realizing that people are human as well. People make mistakes.
Specifically, the quality is flexibility to me. Our job is very different every day. It can range from, a very quiet, operable day where your biggest problem is a duck that's run loose from a farm to you have a life or death situation. And you have to be mentally prepared for a quiet moment to turn into a much more chaotic moment.
Some of the qualities of a good police officer to me is essentially their character, being responsible, truthful, and their overall attitude and how they interact with the public. We can train people to be good police officers in their training, but we cannot train them to have good character and good qualities. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking at training people, is how they act when nobody may be looking, or it may not be recorded, or what do they say whenever they leave the scene.
The biggest thing that I would want people to know about being a police officer is that we're human. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. And I think knowing that as somebody who's not a police officer is really big, because, while we do we're put in a position of authority, so to speak, we can still make a mistake, and we do make mistakes. And so I think having that understanding of we're not perfect, just like, any other human, I think is really important.
My favorite part about being a police officer is I get to help people. I can make, you don't ever know, like if you make a traffic stop, you're the first contact that you might have had for all day, so they might be having a bad day. So you can actually help somebody.
What I like most about serving the community that I grew up in is I always felt safe in town, walking from my neighborhood to school, or just going for midnight strolls with the dog, and I could never put my finger on why. And now that I'm in this position where I am the one patrolling at night and going to parks and saying hi to kids who are hanging out and tell them to go home because it's sundown, I get an opportunity to really see how that safety that I felt as a child is now realized, and it's through the efforts of myself and other officers.
Patrol officers can't be everywhere all at once. GPD encourages residents to join in as the eyes and ears of the department by adopting a see something, say something perspective.
What I would want the community to know about being a police officer and working patrol is there's only so many of us. There's typically 8 to 12 officers working a shift, and it's about 13 square mile city. We can't be everywhere at all times. And what the citizens of Germantown are very, very good at is being the eyes and ears for us when we're not able to physically be there on that street at that moment. The citizens of Germantown are essentially they're our 12th man on the street. They are the ones that call and make us aware of situations that might need resolving.
If you see something that seems out of the ordinary or someone participating in suspicious behavior, don't hesitate to call *54 from your cell phone or 911 in case of emergency.